Good evening, and thank you as well for allowing us to be here. I'll just do through a quick chronology of how things played out that evening. So about 7:29, we received a call in the EOC. We were already in the midst of the initial impact of the storm, that there was a trip at the plant and that there was a release. At that point, the dispatch had informed us that the services were responding, hazmat, the Pahoa company, the normal response units were already en route. About 7:35 or so, I was able to make contact with the plant operations and confirm they had a abated release and that it was going through the emergency steam release facility. At that time, it wasn't known how long the release was going to last, and that was the trigger point for my putting out the radio message that went out shortly thereafter, advising the community that we had an uncontrolled release. And when I use the term uncontrolled, I'm basing it on the duration was not known as how long the release would go on for, not that it wasn't going through an abatement process. It was just unknown at that time how long the release was going to go for. And the instructions or the message contained information about sheltering in place, or if people were experiencing discomfort, that they could try to evacuate to the Pahoa Community Center, Pahoa High School, which we had opened up as a shelter in anticipation of the storm. It wasn't until about 9:15 or so that we received confirmation the plant had been shut down and shut in. There was no other release going, and we waited until they could do more perimeter checks and monitoring on the facility and in and out in the community using the portable units. As was already stated, their perimeter monitors were offline with the blackout or with the power outage. And so at that point, once they had done significant amount of off-property readings with their portables, then a follow-up message was that there was no continued release and there was no other emissions in there, but that wasn't done too much later in the evening. I want to say closer to midnight, so almost 2 hours after the shut-in of the plant. And that's more or less a summary of how things played out in our office with Civil Defense.